We're going to tell you the story of Neil Armstrong's experience during the Apollo 11 moon landing.
We are going to be telling what it was like for him, step by step, like he took walking on the moon making history.
Neil Armstrong was the commander of Apollo 11, the 1969 NASA mission that first landed humans on the moon and returned them safely to Earth.
He was an experienced astronaut, test pilot, and Navy veteran.
On Apollo 11 mission, Armstrong wasn't alone. He was accompanied by Buzz Aldrin, the lunar module pilot, and Michael Collins, who stayed in the commanding module orbiting above the moon.
As a team, they all trained together for years to complete this mission.
Before the launch, Armstrong and his crew practiced countless drills and simulations.
They had to prepare to be ready for anything that might happen in space.
On July 6, 1969, Armstrong boarded the Saturn V rocket and took it to the moon.
When the engines started to ignite, he felt intense pressure as he pushed off out of Earth and into space.
The moment Armstrong, Aldrin, and Collins left the atmosphere, they were struck with zero gravity.
Neil was consistent with his mission, always checking the systems and instruments.
The trip to the moon took several days, and Neil spent majority of the time monitoring the spacecraft.
He knew that every move that was made mattered in order to make a safe landing.
As the moon grew closer, the details of its bumpy surface became clear.
Neil prepared to guide the lunar module down safely.
When the lunar module separated from the Saturn V rocket, Collins stayed in orbit while Armstrong and Aldrin entered the Eagle, a specialized spacecraft.
Their small spacecraft would carry them to the moon.
Beginning the descent, Armstrong carefully maneuvered the spacecraft towards the moon's surface.
He knew a lot had to be set in place in order for it all to go smoothly. The fuel, the speed, the landing location all had to be aligned perfectly.
During the descent, the spacecraft triggered some alarms because the guidance computer was overloaded with tasks, causing it to run out of memory.
He remained calm under the anxiety, following what his training would want him to do.
The landing zone for the spacecraft module wasn't perfect, so without any hesitation, Armstrong took manual control.
Searching for a safe spot, he knew that every second mattered.
Finally, the Eagle landed safely.
With his famous words, he announced, "The Eagle has landed."
Preparing for their first steps on the moon, Armstrong and Aldrin prepared their suits and equipment.
The moment where he could finally step onto the moon has come.
Armstrong took the lead and climbed down the ladder carefully.
He stepped onto the lunar surface. He thought that this was one small step for a man, but a giant leap for mankind.
Armstrong claimed that first-hand experiencing walking with low gravity was strange and slow.
He was hesitant with his steps, testing every movement of the lunar surface beneath his feet.
Aldrin shortly joined Armstrong after.
They both went off and started to explore the moon and made sure to document all their findings and movements.
Together, Armstrong and Aldrin set off to collect rocks and soil from the moon's surface.
With all the samples they collected, they knew it would be good use for the scientists back on Earth because they could understand the moon more.
Armstrong and Aldrin then deployed scientific instruments.
These experiments would continue to collect data for a long time after they were gone.
The two men photographed everything on the surface, from the spacecraft module to the horizon.
He wanted to capture the moon in all its glory. While he was standing on it, the moon's landscape was beautiful and a sight to behold.
Reflecting on the moment, Armstrong took the time to take in the surroundings of the moon's surface.
The realization hit him. He was the first man to ever set foot on the moon.
After finishing collecting samples of the moon's surface, Armstrong and Aldrin returned to their spacecraft module.
Each step he took was traced carefully.
To lift off from the moon, Armstrong piloted the module's ascent back into orbit.
In the command module, him and Buzz rejoined Michael.
On the journey back home, the trip gave him time for Armstrong to reflect on the mission.
It was incredible to him. Everything had gone to plan and worked out.
Re-entering Earth's atmosphere was an intense and nerve-wracking experience, filled with both tension and excitement as the spacecraft hurtled back towards Earth at incredible speeds.
Neil made sure to monitor the heat shields and trajectory very carefully.
Finally, Armstrong and Aldrin landed safely in the Pacific Ocean.
The crew was greeted by so many joyful cheers and sighs of relief that they finally made it home safely.
Due to the Apollo 11 success, Armstrong knew that their mission had changed history.
Him and his crew knew that they had proven that if they can travel to the moon, then other humans could too.
Armstrong claimed that he felt a mix of awe, pride, and humility from NASA's mission.
He knew that he was one of the blessed ones who got to take steps on a place so many dream of.
Millions of people around the world had tuned in to watch the moon landing live, and their attention was glued to televisions and radios as history unfolded before them.
His completed mission inspired many people around the world. The scientists, engineers, and explorers of the world are amazed by what Apollo 11 accomplished.
And that is the story of Neil Armstrong's experience on Apollo 11.
And a small step for Neil Armstrong was a big leap for the rest of the world.